How are you? Okay, so I am a few minutes late, but I'm here and I'm so happy, which I want to say that this live will also be on a podcast because I realize that this is taking the time that I would be putting in the podcast and I'm going to make my life easier. Anyways, today we're going to be talking about allowing yourself to receive help and support. And I'm going to share a little story on how this kind of started happening. And for those of you that don't know me, hi, my name is Alejandra. I am an intuitive guide for women looking to reconnect with their intuition and creating an amazing ass life. And so I am also going to be talking to you about my up and new coming program that I'm really excited about. And I will be talking to you about the challenges that are happening as well as just yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Because sometimes I think that I want to make things exciting in a sense that you've been taught of like marketing, keep things secretive to get people's attention, and that's just not me. Okay. So like I really am excited about my program. It's something that has been in the back of my mind and I've attempted in the past, but I've been so scared and I'm at that level again right now. And so I wanted to share with you how I've managed to change my life when I follow the breadcrumbs, even though things don't make sense. But I think that we are always constantly thinking about the future and how we want things to be. And we kind of miss where we are right now. And then it ends up being the past and you're no longer there, but you wish you would have changed it. So why not go ahead and be present? So if you're here with me, great. You're listening to the recording, what have you. Hi, say hello, leave a comment, and I love to know you are here. And so, where do I begin with the story? It's just so long, but it is really important in how I came to where I was, and it all leads from one story to the next. It's all intertwined because it all is about you. And so I got out of high school, graduated. I did my advanced diploma and I did not go to college. And to me, that felt like I was a failure. And obviously, I know that I'm not. I just took a different path that kind of made me question if I was worthy and if I was good enough, as everyone does. And so I had to kind of pay my way out of or way into college. And I didn't think it was worth it because that would have been a lot to work as well as go to school, or that would have taken forever. And to be honest, I didn't want that path. I felt like when you go to school, you're just really paying to sit and learn from books when the biggest way of learning to me, right? This is my opinion, is living life as it comes. And so I tried to go to community college. I realized that was just not for me. And then I went to this licensed practical nursing program, and I think I was doing it more to appease my mom and make her proud, but it wasn't for me. And so I ended up failing out of that, not just once, but twice. I wanted to really give it a shot. And no, just wasn't worth it. And then I fell into a depression because I didn't go to school. I didn't have a job anymore because I was so focused in school, but it was just too much for me. And then I was sleeping on my aunt's couch. and I fell into a depression thinking that life was over. And I was only, gosh, I want to say 21 at the time. 2021. Gosh, I can't even remember. Yeah, I was 21. 21. And then in August, I got a job and I ended up working my way up through that company. And I was a contractor for 5 years. And this isn't just because I didn't want to get out. The money was good. I could do overtime and I was young. I would drink and waste my money away and I didn't really care. But then I was very anxious constantly through the years because when the busy season is over, what they would do is they would go ahead and cut you out. And obviously, in my head, I was just doing good enough, but not enough to catch anyone's attention in a way because I didn't care. And so, but enough to like worry that I would get fired. And I was good at my job. I just didn't go above and beyond it because I didn't feel like I would be rewarded. And if you're going to get all of my good efforts, I want to be rewarded in a way that it's going to satisfy me, right? Like, makes sense. And so I was there for a while. I tried many times to apply to other positions, but I wouldn't even hear about an interview at all. Like, I wouldn't even be considered for an interview. And I was like, that's what? And so after what? A year? Maybe? No. After 3 years. No. Sorry, I'm trying to get the timeline right now. So I met Sam that year, that first month. We became best friends. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because he plays a part. Um, he he always made me realize that like I was doing my job. Like, why would they fire me? And he's really been a big influence in my life because he's that person that encourages you, that sees the good in you, because obviously we are good people. It's just we have a very hard time. And I say we is for the people that are very hard critics on themselves. And I think this is a majority of us, right? And we've had to work a lot on our self worth, our love for ourselves. And I don't know, maybe you were raised by a judgmental mom, so you were constantly thinking you were not enough. And so there was this one time where I allowed myself to fall apart because I was so stressed and I like swore up and down that I was going to get fired. And Sam and I had just started dating. It was a moment where I was completely vulnerable and never thought that I would be vulnerable like that in front of anyone because I would never allow myself to be seen in a state of vulnerability or I would cry my eyes out and look completely just ugly. And I even remember telling him like he could go home even though like emotionally I was not okay. And he was like, why would I leave you when you are so emotional right now? Like, I would never leave you. I wouldn't just walk away and let you process it on your own if I'm here, especially if I love you. And why do I get emotional as I talk about this is because I have never in my life had anyone by my side to just hold me. He literally didn't have to do anything, just be there. And I don't know how I can tell you how important that was and how important I know it is for someone to be there to process things for you or with not even for you, with you, because it's hard. Being human is so difficult emotionally. There are beautiful things. There are moments where my freaking heart bursts in so much love and happiness and joy and just wow, it's amazing. But there were moments in my life, and sometimes I still have them, where it's just like, oh, it's so hard. It's so hard. And so he helped me there for that, and I'm so grateful for him. And if it weren't for him, I wouldn't be learning how to receive, because if you're familiar with energies, right? We as humans go through frequencies, and those are our emotions, and we are to learn how to manage those emotions in order to understand ourselves, why we're going through this, why we're having these thoughts, and we can control all of these things, but we don't even realize, like, we're not these thoughts, and we're also these energetic beings. And so we have masculine and feminine, and you can fight me all on it, but I believe that we obviously have both. And sometimes if you do not get supported, nurtured, you as a woman typically stand in your masculine energy because you don't feel safe enough for someone to be there in order for you to fall apart. And so with that being said, I never really had anyone because I was always there for everyone else. And so this was the first time that someone who I loved also loved me and stood by me and supported me also, because I applied to one more job, and Sam started with this company when it first began. So he was very familiar with the people that worked there. And I was kind of a noob in a way. The company was very well known, had grown a lot since he had started like 3 or 5 years prior. I can't even remember. And he knew the manager to the most recent position that I had applied to, which I was very hesitant to apply to that job because I was very afraid of dealing with money. And this position dealt with private school families. So I would take tuition, I would talk about money. And to me, money is like the most intimidating thing, because if I fuck up with somebody's money, like, I'm going to have to pay it out of my own pocket or figure it out some way or another. So that is something that I'm working on. And so I went for this job and I told Sam about it. And he's like, "Oh, I know the manager." And he's like, "Let me go put a good word in for you." And I was like, "No, don't, please." Like, I didn't want to have any favors or anything of that sort. And he's like, "No, like, I'm just going to tell him to give you a chance." And I had told him not to, and I think he did it anyway. And I'm grateful that man didn't listen to me, because the manager gave me a shot and he loved me. But he also wanted to honor his own team to, what's the word? Like, go up the ladder, right? In corporate, to improve their lives and improve their career. He was very big on growth, and I loved him for that. And I then applied a second time, because he's like, "I think there's going to be another position available, but I'm still working with HR." And I was like, "Okay, cool, no problem." And then the second time, I was so hesitant, and I was like, "No, like, they should have hired me and they should have done this." And I was like, "All right, let me give it a shot." And I went and spoke with the supervisor, blew it out of the water for a second time, and I got the job. I got a $10,000 raise, and then I kicked ass at my job, and they loved me to the point where they were going to start training me to be a lead or a supervisor. And then a year into their job, like, I was the top performer, and if anything was going to be done, I was going to be the person who was going to be assigned. Like, the reason why is because I'm a fast learner. I'm a quick learner. I'm very adaptable. I ask questions, and I I like to work. And I enjoyed the job. I also loved the recognition and I loved the support that I would get. And I I loved it. I loved it very, very much. And then the only thing that I didn't start to like was that they would always change teams. I also didn't like that I had to request BTO. And then I also wanted to work from home. And so there was also not much in regards to PTO. Like money has always been something that I like due to the fact that like I get to do whatever I want and I get to enjoy really great food. Anyways, so I ended up making $50,000 a year in that job, which I thought I would never do due to the fact that I was a college dropout. And then what happened? I ended up leaving. I was no longer happy due to the fact that no longer was with that manager and that supervisor, and everything just went to shit. And I found more of my path of guiding others to also create a life that they love. I had went through a spiritual journey and I went on a cabin trip all by my lonesome, which is another story I think I've shared before if you've seen the lives. But all of this to say is that, like, I understand where you're coming from. I understand that it's not just about taking those steps of your resume, of going to apply for that job. Sometimes it really is all about asking for help or following those nudges or allowing yourself to fall apart and someone that you can lean on who's been there, who's shown you that they've been there. Not that you think, right, that will be there for you, but has shown you that they care about you, that they love you, that they've already been there for you, and you're not a burden, right? You're not an inconvenience. You're someone that they love and they want to be there for if you allow yourself. And this is one of the reasons why I have created the Lighthouse Method. I know that when you get out of your own way, when you allow yourself to fall apart, and then you allow yourself to ask for help, get help, and your life will start to be in the path that feels good to your soul. It's not going to feel difficult. And you're going to have sorts of bumps here and there, but nothing that you can't overcome, that you can't do. And if you feel that you are not qualified for that, that's in your head. I'm sure that you are able to do a lot of things and you've done a lot of things, but you have forgotten about it. And so these are the things that we go through inside the Lighthouse Method. So if you are interested in joining, I will be starting this on January 27th forever for whoever joins. And I'm so excited to be there to support you, to guide you, and to remind you of your power. And what else? It is for 3 months. You would have 2 one-on-one calls a month with me, as well as boxer support Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays to celebrate you, to work through those mind tricks that are running through your head, and to just listen to whatever it is that you're on your mind that's kind of having you feel uneasy. And then I also have 10 to 15-minute workshops, 3 of them that will be included to kind of get you started, to reflect, as well as to just kind of reconnect with yourself if you have some doubts, right? And remember of like, it takes time. You got this. And it will be for $750 paid in full. There are payment plans available. If you do join my email list, it will take $100 off from the original price of $650. And again, that could be applied as a monthly payment as well. So if you have any questions, let me know. If you relate to my story, I'd love to hear it. And until next time, I love you.